There are people who spent $1 billion building apocalypse bunkers in remote locations with hydroponics, air filtration systems, armories, medical facilities, and enough supplies to sustain a small community for decades. And there are people who spent $0 who will outlive them because they understood what actually matters when civilization collapses, and it's not the price tag on your shelter. This isn't about whether money helps. Money helps, but the difference between a $1 solution and a $1 billion fortress isn't survival versus death. It's comfort versus discomfort while you're both surviving. And in many scenarios, the person who spent nothing but understood principles will outlast the person who spent everything but understood nothing. Let's start with the $1 billion bunker because it's what people fantasize about. Underground complex, 15 feet of reinforced concrete, blast doors that could stop a tank, independent power generation, water purification, climate control, food stores for years, medical supplies, entertainment systems, luxury accommodations. It's an underground palace designed to outlast nuclear war, pandemic, social collapse, whatever ends the surface world. Here's what kills the people inside it. They didn't think about the things money can't solve. Problem 1, location dependency. Your $1 billion bunker is in Montana or New Zealand or wherever seemed remote and safe when you built it. You're in Manhattan when the crisis hits, or London or Tokyo. You have 3,000 miles between you and your survival bunker.
Every plan you made assumes you can reach it, which assumes transportation networks function long enough for you to get out, which assumes you recognize the crisis early enough to leave before everyone else does. You're stuck in gridlock on highways that have become parking lots. You're at an airport where no flights are leaving. You're watching your $1 billion investment sit empty and useless while you die in a city that's tearing itself apart because you couldn't physically reach the place you built to save you. The $1 solution, understanding that the best shelter is the one you're already in when crisis hits. Your home, fortified with basic improvements, sealed room for fallout protection, stored supplies, no travel required, no assumption that you'll have warning or mobility, available immediately because it's where you already are. Problem 2, operational complexity. $1 billion bunkers require systems maintenance. Air filtration needs filter replacements. Generators need fuel and repairs. Hydroponic systems need nutrient solutions and technical knowledge. Water purification requires replacement parts. Climate control needs refrigerants and expertise. You built a complex machine that requires constant inputs and specialized knowledge to operate. Your technician dies. Your supplies of replacement parts run out. One critical system fails and cascades into others. The air filtration stops working correctly and CO2 builds up. The hydroponics fail and you're burning through stored food faster than planned. The generator breaks and suddenly you have no power for anything. Your $1 billion bunker becomes a very expensive tomb because complexity is fragility when you can't replace parts or call for support. The $1 solution, simplicity. Passive systems that work without power, natural ventilation through properly designed vents, food that requires no system to remain viable, rice, beans, canned goods, water storage that needs no machinery, just containers and basic filtration, heat from insulation and body warmth, not climate control systems.
Every system is something you can fix with basic tools or no tools at all. Complexity is your enemy when the supply chain that maintains complexity is gone. Problem 3, security theater. Your blast doors are impenetrable. Your walls are reinforced concrete. You have cameras, alarms, armed security if you can afford staff. You're convinced you're protected from external threats. You're not thinking about internal ones. You're locked in an underground bunker with a dozen other people for months or years. Cabin fever sets in. Personality conflicts escalate. Someone has a mental breakdown. Someone else decides they should be in charge instead of you. Resource disputes develop. Romantic entanglements create jealousy and faction. The armed security you hired to protect you from outside threats decides they'd rather be in charge than take orders, and your guns are now pointed at you instead of for you. You built a prison where you're locked inside with people who may turn on you, and your expensive security systems are designed to keep threats out, not manage threats inside. People kill each other in luxury bunkers because they didn't plan for the psychological and social dynamics of long-term confinement with no escape and finite resources that everyone wants to control. The $1 solution? Smaller groups or solo survival.
You, your immediate family, people you die for and who die for you. No hired security who have no loyalty beyond payment. No strangers brought in because you felt generous or wanted labor. The smaller the group, the simpler the dynamics. Trust matters more than firepower. You can't buy loyalty, and a bunker full of people you can't trust is more dangerous than facing threats outside alone. Problem 4. Sustainability delusions. Your billion-dollar bunker has food for 10 years. After 10 years, what? Your hydroponics work theoretically forever, but require inputs you won't have forever. Your stored fuel runs out. Your technology degrades. Your supplies of everything from medicine to soap to seeds eventually deplete. You planned for a temporary crisis, followed by emergence into a recovered world. You didn't plan for permanent collapse, where the surface never becomes safe and resupply never comes. Year 12, your food stores are exhausted. Your systems are failing. You emerge from your bunker into a world that hasn't recovered, that may never recover. And you have no skills for surviving in it because you spent 10 years underground dependent on systems and technology. You're soft, unskilled, and facing an environment that kills people who are hard and skilled.
You traded 10 comfortable years for certain death when you finally had to face reality. The $1 solution. Skills over storage. You can't stockpile forever. You can learn skills that work forever. Foraging, hunting, trapping, water location and purification, shelter building, fire without tools, navigation, first aid, conflict avoidance, resource management. Skills don't run out. Skills don't break. Skills transfer to any environment. The person who spent nothing on bunkers but years developing survival skills will outlast the person who spent billions on supplies that eventually run dry. Problem 5. Target acquisition. Everyone knows about your billion-dollar bunker. You talked about it because people who spend $1 billion on anything can't help but talk about it. Contractors know where it is. Staff know where it is. Neighbors know where it is. When collapse happens and resources become scarce, everyone who knows about your bunker knows you have food, water, medicine, supplies worth killing for. You have defenses, sure. You can hold off initial attacks, but you can't hold off sustained siege by people who have nothing to lose and everything to gain. They cut your ventilation. They wait you out. They dig. They use explosives. They're patient because starving people are always patient when they know food is on the other side of a wall. Eventually, your defenses fail, or you have to emerge. And when you do, they're waiting. Your billion-dollar bunker became the thing that killed you because it was too visible, too known, too valuable. You advertised that you had resources worth taking, and people took them, and you with them. The $1 solution. Invisibility. The best bunker is the one nobody knows exists. The best supplies are the ones nobody knows you have. You look poor. You look unprepared. You're actually stocked, but you're not advertising it. Your shelter is unimpressive from the outside. You're not worth the effort of attacking because everyone thinks you have nothing. Invisibility is better defense than fortress walls because attacks don't come if attackers don't know you're a target. Problem 6. Psychological collapse. You're underground for 6 months. You haven't seen sunlight.
You haven't felt wind. You haven't experienced weather or seasons or any of the sensory inputs humans evolved to need. You're going insane slowly, and you don't recognize it because everyone around you is also going insane slowly, and you're normalizing each other's deterioration. Depression sets in. Anxiety becomes constant. Cognitive function decreases from sensory deprivation. Circadian rhythms break down from lack of natural light. People start having psychotic breaks. Suicide ideation becomes common. You saved your body from radiation, but you're losing your mind to isolation and confinement. And a broken mind in a survival situation makes decisions that kill the body the bunker was supposed to protect. The $1 solution. understanding that psychological survival matters as much as physical survival. Shelter that allows some access to outside, even if restricted. Windows, even small ones. Natural light, even limited. Routine that maintains structure. Physical activity, mental stimulation. Recognition that humans aren't designed for underground living, and you need to compensate for that, or the isolation will break you regardless of how safe you are from external threats. What actually saves you? A nuclear blast happens and you're at home, not in Montana. Home.
You have 15 minutes before fallout starts arriving. Your billion-dollar bunker is useless. Your $1 solution? Get to the most interior room of your house, the one with the most material between you and the outside. Bathroom in the center of an apartment building. Closet with no exterior walls. Basement covered with furniture and supplies for mass. You survive the initial fallout by sheltering in place with whatever mass you can put around you. Books, water containers, furniture, anything dense. You wait 48 to 72 hours for the most dangerous isotopes to decay. You didn't spend $1 billion. You spent maybe $300 on supplies and knowledge. You're alive, and the person with the $1 billion bunker is stuck in traffic or dead from trying to reach their investment. Social collapse happens. Billion-dollar bunker people are fighting each other for control of their fortress. You're at home, invisible, unremarkable, not worth targeting. You have supplies hidden, skills developed, and you're not managing complex systems or hostile staff. You're just surviving quietly, while the visible wealthy targets get overrun by people who have nothing to lose. Pandemic hits. Billion-dollar bunker people are dealing with air filtration maintenance and wondering when they can emerge.
You're at home with masks, sealed room for isolation, supplies to wait it out, knowledge of basic hygiene and contamination prevention. You're not depending on systems that can fail. You're depending on principles that always work. The difference isn't money. The difference is understanding what actually kills people in crisis and preparing specifically for those threats. Water contamination, have filtration and treatment. Infection, have medical supplies and knowledge. Cold, understand heat retention. Starvation, have calories stored. Violence, be invisible and prepared. System failure, don't depend on systems. A $1 billion bunker is a complex, location-dependent, psychologically damaging, operationally fragile target that requires everything to go right. A $1 solution is a simple, location-independent, psychologically sustainable, operationally robust approach that works even when most things go wrong. Money helps.
Having a bunker is better than not having one, all else being equal. But all else is never equal. The person who spent $1 billion usually didn't spend time developing skills, didn't think about psychological factors, didn't plan for every scenario, didn't consider that their fortress could become their prison or their tomb. The person who spent almost nothing but understood principles can shelter in place, can improvise, can adapt to scenarios that don't match their specific preparations, can survive with skills when supplies run out, can remain invisible when visibility is death, can maintain sanity through crisis because they didn't design their survival around isolation in a concrete box underground. The real question. It's not whether you can afford a $1 billion bunker. Most people can't, which is why this matters. The question is whether you're using the resources you actually have to address the threats you'll actually face with solutions that actually work. $100 of rice and beans saves you from starvation. $20 of water purification tablets saves you from waterborne illness. $50 of medical supplies saves you from infection. Free knowledge from YouTube about fire, shelter, and first aid saves you from exposure and injury.
The $1 billion bunker might save you in the one specific scenario it was designed for, if you can reach it, if the systems work, if the people inside don't turn on each other, if you emerge at the right time, if 1,000 things go right. The $1 solution saves you in dozens of scenarios because it's not brittle, not location-dependent, not system-dependent, not people-dependent. It's knowledge and skills and basic supplies and understanding what actually kills people when the comfortable systems fail. Survivorship in collapse isn't about wealth. It's about preparation that addresses real threats with robust solutions. The person with the $1 billion bunker who doesn't understand water purification dies of dysentery. The person with $0 who knows how to purify water lives. The person with every luxury in an underground palace dies of psychological breakdown or internal violence. The person in a basic shelter with trustworthy family survives. What actually saves you isn't the price tag. It's understanding what kills you and preventing those specific things with the simplest methods that work. Sometimes that costs money. Usually it costs knowledge, preparation, and the discipline to implement both before the crisis makes implementation impossible.
When collapse comes, the people who make it aren't the richest or the best equipped. They're the ones who understood the fundamentals and built their survival around principles that don't fail instead of systems that do. And if you're watching this understanding that survival knowledge matters more than survival budgets, that preparation beats wealth when systems collapse, you might want to consider subscribing. Because every crisis has patterns. Every disaster has preventable deaths, and knowing what actually saves people before you need saving is the difference between becoming a survivor and becoming a statistic. The billion-dollar bunker is impressive. The $1 solution is effective. In survival, effective beats impressive every single time. Choose accordingly.